Have you noticed how, with each passing year, something subtle yet profound starts to shift within us? It's not only the lines on our faces or the silver strands in our hair, it's the way we begin to move through life, the way our priorities change, and the way our hearts start craving different things. There was a time when the idea of having guests over filled us with excitement. We would plan days in advance, clean every corner, cook with enthusiasm, and laugh until midnight. The sound of chatter and clinking dishes used to feel like the very heartbeat of our home. But somewhere along the way, that excitement began to fade. Not because we stopped loving people, but because something inside us began to whisper a new truth, that peace, calm, and simplicity hold a beauty that no gathering can replace. There's a quiet transformation that happens as we grow older. What once felt like joy sometimes begins to feel like effort. Hosting friends that once brought laughter now brings fatigue. The anticipation of company once meant fun, now it can mean stress. It's not that we've grown distant or unfriendly, far from it. It's just that our souls have grown wiser. They've learned what truly nourishes us and what drains us. Our homes, once lively stages filled with visitors, have slowly turned into sanctuaries, places where the soft hum of peace feels more comforting than the hum of conversation. When we were younger, hosting felt easy. We didn't think twice before opening our doors. A few hours of cleaning, some cooking, maybe a quick grocery run, and we were ready. But as time moves on, even those small tasks begin to feel heavier. The body doesn't bounce back the way it used to. Knees ache, backs stiffen, and energy doesn't flow endlessly anymore. The simple act of preparing a meal, setting the table, and smiling through long conversations becomes a quiet test of endurance. And it's not just physical. The mind, too, tires more easily. The chatter that once thrilled us can now overwhelm. The laughter that once filled the house can sometimes echo too loudly in the quiet corners of our mind. There's a tenderness that comes with age, a sensitivity to noise, to movement, to energy. What once felt alive can suddenly feel intrusive. So, we start craving calmness, not out of isolation, but out of deep appreciation for stillness. For many older adults, life is balanced delicately around routines, the time we wake, the medicines we take, the meals we eat, the naps that restore us. One unexpected visit can unravel that rhythm, and though guests mean well, their arrival can bring small ripples of chaos into our carefully balanced peace. We smile, we welcome, we pour tea, but inside, our energy quietly drains, and later, when the laughter fades and the door closes, we feel that familiar wave of exhaustion. It's not resentment, it's simply reality. There's also a quiet worry that wasn't there before, about health, about germ, about catching something that could linger for weeks. The world feels more unpredictable now, and so our homes feel sacred, safe havens where we can control what comes in and what stays out. The thought of hosting no longer sparks joy but caution. We've learned that protecting our peace is as important as protecting our health, and so, the invitations become fewer, the gatherings grow smaller. But strangely, it doesn't feel like loss. It feels like balance, because solitude, we've discovered, isn't loneliness. Loneliness is an ache for something you don't have. Solitude, on the other hand, is fulfillment in what you already do. It's the quiet joy of waking up to a peaceful morning, of sitting with a warm cup of coffee and listening to the birds outside your window. It's watching the sunlight move across the room and feeling grateful for the stillness. Solitude is not empty, it's full of reflection, gratitude, and calm. As we grow older, solitude becomes our closest friend. We learn that the quiet isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. We find beauty in simplicity, in silence, in slowness. The world outside can rush all at once. Inside, time feels gentle. And once we experience that peace, we guard it carefully. Not everyone understands this change. Some might call it antisocial or detached, but they miss the truth. It's not about pulling away from people. It's about drawing closer to ourselves. We've spent so much of our lives giving to family, to friends, to work, to everyone who needed us. Now, it's time to give back to ourselves, to rest without guilt, to say no without apology, to choose stillness over noise, not because we've stopped caring about others, but because we finally care enough about our own well-being. The energy that once seemed endless now comes in smaller portions, and we've learned to spend it wisely. Every conversation, every visit, every social event, it all takes something from our emotional bank, and so we begin to choose how we spend it. A deep talk with one beloved friend feels more rewarding than a crowded room full of chatter. A single shared laugh can feel richer than hours of small talk. We start valuing depth over display, peace over popularity, connection over company. Even our homes transform alongside us. They stop being spaces meant to impress others and start becoming extensions of our inner peace. We decorate them not for beauty, but for comfort. Soft lighting, familiar scents, a favorite chair by the window, these become our treasures. And when someone knocks unexpectedly, it doesn't feel like excitement anymore. It feels like disruption. We've finally built an environment where our hearts can rest, and we're not so willing to disturb that anymore. This doesn't mean we never want company. We do, but now, we crave quality over quantity. We want conversations that fill, not drain. We want laughter that heals, not noise that exhausts. We want presence, not performance. One quiet evening with a a dear friend who truly listens feels worth 1,000 loud parties. That's not loneliness, that's maturity. It's the soul recognizing what brings true joy. And as our hearts soften with age, they also grow more discerning. We no longer tolerate negativity, gossip, or pretend. We've weathered enough storms to know that peace is rare, and we refuse to invite new chaos inside. We seek kindness, understanding, and authenticity, and when visitors disrupt that, even unintentionally, we feel it deeply. That's why we become selective, not as a form of rejection, but as a form of self-respect. We guard our peace the way we once guarded our time. There's a wisdom that only experience can teach, that not every silence must be filled, not every knock must be answered, not every invitation must be accepted. Peace is not selfishness, it's strength. It's knowing your limits and honoring them. It's choosing recovery over restlessness, calm over chaos. So if you've noticed that you no longer enjoy hosting guests like you once did, let that truth sit gently in your heart. You're not becoming unfriendly, you're becoming aware. You're listening to your body, your mind, your soul, all of which are asking for rest, for quiet, for space. You've spent years giving, serving, welcoming. Now, it's your turn to receive peace, comfort, and stillness without guilt. And perhaps this is what aging gracefully really means. Not just wrinkles and wisdom, but the ability to choose peace without apology. To understand that your home doesn't need to impress, it just needs to hold you gently. That your worth isn't measured by how many people walk through your door, but by how much calm you feel in your own space. When you choose quiet over company, you're not closing your heart, you're opening it to yourself. You're honoring the life you've built, the lessons you've learned, and the peace you've earned. Because peace isn't loneliness, it's freedom. It's the soft exhale after years of effort. It's the knowing smile that says, I've given enough, now I rest. So, the next time you decline a visit or let the phone ring a little longer before answering, don't feel bad. Breathe deeply and smile. You've earned this peace. You've earned this quiet. You've earned the right to make your home your sanctuary, a place where your heart can finally just be. Because at this stage of life, that's not just okay, that's beautiful.